I was working with a sales team recently and I noticed they weren't getting ghosted by their clients, but it was taking them a really long time to get the next meeting booked into the calendar. They'd have a great first call, there'd be a lot of intent, there'd be a lot of energy, and then it could take a week, 2 weeks, sometimes even a little bit longer to get the next meeting booked. They didn't have a ghosting problem, they didn't have a pipeline problem, they had a momentum problem. And in Q4, that is simply not going to cut it. So today I'm going to speak about 4 tips that you can use to speed up your deals and shorten your sales cycles in Q4. I'm Paul M. Caffrey. I'm a sales keynote speaker, and I strongly believe that salespeople don't underperform, they underprepare. And that is something that we can fix. Over the next 60 seconds, I'm going to share with you one thing that you can do that will absolutely get your deals to move faster, which means no more waiting around and no more chasing clients. Prepared next steps. When we go into a meeting, there is a decision that we expect to be made. And sometimes if we're not clear on that decision, well, how can we expect our clients to be clear on that? So knowing what you're aiming for, and should the meeting go well, then be in a position to recommend what should happen next. It sounds obvious, but so many people miss out. And what does a prepared next step comprise of? Well, 4 key things. What is the next step you're going to recommend? Who is going to be involved? When is it going to happen? And most importantly, why are you doing it? We need to sell the value of the next step to our prospect or to our potential client and make them understand why it's worthwhile that we follow this process and how this has helped other successful clients be successful because they took the time to go through this process. We want to call out what's the value for them. An example could be if you wanted to share a proposal. Well, you can send somebody a proposal, but it's much better to present that proposal to them in real time and be able to talk them through it and be able to answer questions that they might have. Because yes, they can read through it, but if they do have 1 or 2 questions they need to clarify, it'll be much faster and much easier for them to do so if you are on a call together. So always think about what's the benefit for the other person to have that next step be a live interaction with you. The second big thing to keep momentum in your deals is getting clear on the pain. And is this pain causing a real problem or just an inconvenience or a frustration which we can live with? I hate to break it to you, but every problem does not mean action. There is a lot of problems that we have that we will just live with. Sure, we'll complain about them, we'll speak about them, but it doesn't mean that we'll always take action or that we'll always put resource, time, effort, money into solving them. Sometimes we'll just live with them. When you're speaking with your clients and we start hearing pain and we start hearing problems, we really need to understand, is this something which is worthy of taking action to fix, or is it the minor inconvenience which they could potentially live with? Even calling that out in a meeting and slowing it down and sharing that, look, I hear that you've got this frustration and I get that this is the issue that you're facing, but I'm not sure this is enough to merit you taking action, to merit you putting time and resource into fixing it. Takes the pressure out of the conversation and allows them to start talking to you about why they feel this needs to be solved, and they're not only telling you, but in some cases they're also telling themselves as well. If you've got an inconvenience, you've got interest, but if you've got real pain, then you're going to have a problem which people will take action to solve. So prepared sellers don't just find problems, they find problems that are worth solving and get the client to agree that this is worth putting the time and effort in to work on. The third thing I want you to take away from this is when you come to the end of a meeting, never finish the meeting without having your next one booked in the calendar, or at least provisionally booked in the calendar. Book a meeting from a meeting. Bam, bam. Mark Hunter speaks about this and so many other really exceptional salespeople. And if you run out of time, you're not quite getting everything covered off, 5 minutes before the end of the meeting, alarm bell should be going off for you to even call out. It feels like we're going to answer everything that you want to answer. It feels like you're going to see what you need to see for us to proceed to the next step. But how do you want to spend the next few minutes? And the next step we'd recommend typically is Do you want to go ahead and book that in? And if somebody doesn't want to book in a next step with you, and you've spent the time, you went through the meeting with them, that in itself is a red flag to say you've probably missed something, and we probably need to loop back and go and understand, well, if you're not open to booking the next meeting, I'm very keen to understand why you think this next session isn't valuable for you. Again, much quicker way of finding out where you really stand versus not even asking and then not even knowing that they don't want to have that next meeting. Okay, this is the fourth step. This is one of the easiest ways to get clarity on your deals. And so few people do it that you will stand out if you actually take this action. After your meeting, you can send that summary email to the participants, but following up individually with a quick call to see, was that meeting useful for you? Did you get what you wanted out of it? And then being able to think to yourself, is this person green? Are they pro my solution? Are they neutral where they don't really care? So maybe they're amber. Or are they red? Are they against it? Is compliance looking at this thinking it's going to be a lot of work? I don't think we want to take that on in our department. So it's important to know who is with us, who doesn't care, and who's against us. And today, multi-threading is more important than it's ever been. If you're going into a meeting where you've got 4 or 5 people who are going to attend, you can call them up in advance and ask them, what are they looking to get out of this meeting? What is it about it that got them to decide to attend? And I want to make sure that's covered for you. So that's why I thought I'd just pick up the phone and give a quick call. This, again, is another opportunity for you to gauge, not necessarily by the exact words that they're saying, but by their tone and their warmth, whether they're on board with your solution or not. So to wrap it up, the 4 things that you can do in Q4 to keep your deals moving are: number 1, have prepared next steps before every single meeting. Number 2, be clear that the pain you come across is causing a serious problem and not just a mild inconvenience. Number 3, always look to book a meeting from a meeting. Never leave that call without having the next one in the diary. And number 4, speak to individual stakeholders before and after and establish, are they pro, neutral, or against your deal. If you do these 4 things consistently, you'll never be in a position of having to chase momentum again in your deals. I look forward to speaking with you next time.